Hello, hello everyone. I hope you're doing super well. The interwebs is being a bit crazy and not letting me do the Zoom live stream deal. So I'm here the other way. I love that we get to do all this stuff. So I hope everyone's doing super well. Hey Brad, nice to see you. Good realization, huh? So nice to see you. Hi Faye. Hi Holly Ann. Oh my goodness, so nice to see everyone. Yes. Oh my goodness, you guys are epic. So cool, so cool. It's nice to see how you all feeling. It's been a big couple of days. Who knew that creating content, aloha. Tell me, how do I say your name? Can you put it phonetically in there? Is it Mr.? Help me out with that because I never want to pronounce it. But obviously, Hawaiian, mahalo, you're a MVU person. I remember seeing you and your beautiful son. So please share, share, share. Hi from sunny Perth, Holly Ann. Hey Paula, nice to see you. Mr. Thank you so much. I got you. I've been watching you. I got you. So cool. How's everyone feeling? There's been a lot of stuff. Who knew that content marketing was going to be so confronting, right? Someone said to me, we just have to show up and be ourselves. I'm like, pretty much. That's it. I hop up in my activewear. If you're lucky, I put my hair in a side pony. Yeah, so then we've had some really beautiful responses, and I'm loving what's going on in the group. You guys are just incredible. I love the connection that's happening, and I also love the communication and the conversations that are happening amongst each other. You guys are amazing. I'd love to know just what hi Angela, hi Melissa, hey Donzi, hey Julie, it's so lovely to see everyone. Hey Angela, I was just on a call with Christy and Joe, and I was like, oh, I've got one of your people in our group, so super nice to see you. Yeah, so great to see everyone. But what I'm really loving are the conversations, and I'm loving how you're supporting everyone. You know, there's some beautiful realizations happening within the group around, you know, how we're showing up and what we're doing, and this whole permission to be imperfectly human, right? Because at the end of the day, that's all we are, is just imperfect humans working it out as we go and sharing love. I love it. So thank you guys for showing up so beautifully. Hey, Beck. So today I wanted to really tap into this piece, dig into peace, if that's not your language, around your values. And if you've had a chance to go through this, that's super cool. And if you haven't, that's all right. So the intention for today's call is to really look at the values that you have and start to come up with a real tangible element of what that looks like for you. And I say that because a lot of us might say, oh, my value is freedom. And I'm like, cool, well, what does that look like? Right? Yeah, my value is freedom. But what does that look like? Like, what does it really, how do you know that freedom's knocking at your door? How do you know that love is knocking at your door? How do you know that integrity is knocking at your door? How do you know that social justice is there? What is the measure for all of that, right? And so you have your 5 values, and if you don't, you have them anyway. You just maybe not have written them down, and that's totally okay. But I'd love for you, if you haven't already, is just to take a moment to consider how those values show up for you in your life, right? And what does it look like when it shows up for you? And I have a couple of really great clients, and, you know, things like adventure. What does adventure look like? You know, adventure looks like travel. It looks like the beach. It looks like rock climbing. It looks like surfing. You know, what does creativity look like for you? It looks like writing. It looks like art. It looks like photography. It looks like, you know, crafting. It looks like words. It looks like expression. It looks like a beautiful sunset. You know, what do these things look like? What is your expression of that value? And really start to list that down. Ideally, you want, for each one of your values, you want to have 5 or 10 elements. You know, what does innovation look like for you? For Beck, is it a recipe? Is it how you put things on a plate? Is it, you know, taking something that you've never done before and creating amazing flavors? So Beck is an amazing chef, right? So she's the food junkie. So what is lifestyle for you? How does that look? You know, what does lifestyle actually mean? I was talking about this because my mother is doing the course and she's like, oh my goodness, Martine, the wormhole of the Pinterest. I'm like, yes. She's like, oh, lifestyle for me is country. I'm like, yes, but is it only just country? Is it all rural? Or is it, you know, the ability to be able to travel? Is it, you know, yoga in the mornings? Is it journaling? Is it, you know, what actually makes up all the layers for you? Yeah, we totally feel more aligned when we're living our values. If you're entrepreneur is a big one for me. What does being an entrepreneur look like for me? And I've always shied away from the word because I'm like, oh, it's sort of been used. You know, it's been done. Everyone's doing it. And people are doing it in different ways. But for me, it's being able to do this anywhere. Like literally, I'm grounded from travel and I'm at my sister's house, you know, and this is where I've been for the past couple of months. And you know, next week I'll be somewhere else. And so this being an entrepreneur means that I can live my life by design. And so that for me is being entrepreneur, you know, but for some people it could be, you know, having an epic studio like Sunny, who's in the group, has just built his, you know, amazing photography studio. What does it look like for you? And really make sure you're super clear on these things. Making a difference look like? Oh, yeah, good question, Holly. Well, what does making a difference look like for you? Right? Because I can give you my interpretation of what does making a difference look like. But I think it's around, you know, if you see someone empowered, you know, if you see someone joyful, if you see that you created connection or impact, if you see something positive, maybe it's around, you know, impacting people. So maybe it's about group. For you, it's about children. Do you know, what does it look like when you've made a difference on a child's face, right? What does it look like when you've made a difference in a community? You know, these are the things, when you feel like you've made a difference, what does that look and feel like to you? Yeah, everyone is different, right? Because it's not my interpretation. I can give you it, right? But it's really what resonates for you, because these are your values, right? And it's super cool to be able to articulate them in a way that feels and resonates for you. What about value? You know, if value is a value, what does that look like? For some people, it's financial, right? For some people, it might be a financial exchange. For some people, it may be impact, social impact. For some people, it's about gifting. For some people, it's time. You know, what do these things look like in your everyday lives and how do they show up for you? Now, this is like the hard work, right? We went straight in, we went deep, we were talking values, we're talking connections, we ask everyone to like give feedback, it's confronting. Some people said no one said anything. And so in which case, you know, just ask different people. Doesn't mean you're not valuable, just means ask different people. You know, make it personal. If you usually speak to people via Messenger, then speak to them via Messenger. If you're a coffee and cake person, maybe you can't do coffee and cake right now, but maybe it's like, hey, can we have a virtual coffee? I've got a question for you. So if you haven't got your 10 responses yet, or you don't have a framework of what that looks like, keep going. It's not about the role that you do. It's about the why. So for Brad, I know there was some confusion. It's not about what you teach. It's about why you teach it and who you are in that moment. The why question is more important than the what. Yeah. So, you know, I read some of those responses and, you know, this sense of calm, this sense of knowledge, like these are the things that people come to you for. Their values, right? That you have serenity in the sea of crazy. It's so valuable, right? In today's sea of crazy. So how do you show up in such a way? Yeah. Yeah, totally. This is exactly what we're doing, Melissa. Sorry, I'm reading and I'm multitasking. But yes, the reason why we're drilling into the values is because they are actually going to be your content elements, and which is what we're going to do today. Oh, I value coffee too. I value coffee so much. It looks like a soy latte. Just saying. Amazing. Yeah, I love it. Sincerity, wisdom, empathy. You're so welcome. Amazing. I'm so pleased everyone's feeling good about this. And look, it's not, hey, I ticked that box. Keep going. You want 10, right? Because what you're looking for is what people see in you. What we know already is that what we think we're showing up as is really the thing we're showing up as. Yes, Brad, I'm looking at you. Because what we think we are is really what other people see in us. I can come off a call or I can do all these things and think, oh my God, I'm such a basket case or any of those things. And then other people see it differently. And so sometimes we don't see our own greatness, our own gift. And it's really reassuring to know that what we're putting out in the world is landing with people and landing in ways we couldn't even imagine. I could never have orchestrated the things that I've done. I could have planned to my heart's content, and I love to plan, but never would I have dreamed all the things that I'd done if I tried to map it out. And so this is true when people are connecting with us. Yeah. Ask for the feeling, Paula. If the 10 are different, what's the feeling? What's the common feeling that resonates with it all? Yeah. So you've got this idea of what people see in you. Whatever they see in you is true for them. It's their experience, but sometimes we don't see our greatness in the world. So this is just a confirmation of your own greatness. And then you've got this piece about what really connects with your values, right? And what we want to do is put that together in a content map, right? So I can't screen share, which is like so crazy for me. But I do have a plan. Bear with me 2 seconds. I reckon I can pull it up. So what I need you to do, if you don't already have, is a piece of paper and a pen. And you're going to go ahead and you're going to, oh my God, I love problem solving. You're going to go ahead, hopefully you can see this, and you're going to, oh, can we see it? Oh, wrong way, Martine. You're going to create like crooked, see? Perfect, not perfect. There we go. Oh my God, upside down, Miss Jane. You're going to create a grid. Create a grid like this. I'm going to send this to you, so you're going to be fine, right? Create a grid. You get the idea. I can't hold it up the whole time. And in the grid across the top, right, you want to be able to write down whether it's day 1, day 2, day 3, whatever else. These are your context elements, right? So write day 1 through to day 7. If we're going to map out like content mapping for a period of time, go 1 to day 7, right? And then you're going to go from 1 to 6 or 7, however many values you had, plus 1, right? So if you had 5 values, 7 values, 10 values, 5 is your minimum, 5, 7 or 10, pop them down, plus 1. Then for your products and services, if you haven't got one yet, put your interests, whatever they are, what you think your product will be. I would put in at least 1 or 2 spaces for products or programs or whatever that is, whether it's photography, cooking, coaching, nutrition, whatever your products and services are. So you've got 1 to 5 values plus you and at least 1 product or service. So now you've got like 7 down the side, 7 across the top. Got that? Yes, cool, cool, cool. Hey, Mel, nice to see you. Right, so you've got your 7 context pieces across the top. You've got your values down the side. So let's start with values. List them out, whatever the values are. What are mine? I've got freedom, I've got social justice, I've got impact. What else are my values? I should know them off the top of my head, right? Inner harmony, unity, creativity, entrepreneurship. These are all my values. These are things that are important to me. Right, and then I want you to create a space for you. So then my 6th one would be my team, because I'm me, and this is I'm part of this whole content piece, right? It's not just me peddling my values, and it's about that piece. And then from there, whatever your product is, pick 1 or 2. Let's start with 1, right? So if it's coaching, if it's your photography business, if it's your restaurant, Beck, if it's Stacey, if it's your coaching, Mel, if it's cooking or coaching women, like all these things, whatever those things are, put that in the side. So you've got your elements, your content elements down the side, and the context elements up the top. And here are the context pieces for you, right? Everyone with me? We're all doing okay? Perfect. Hey, work, schmirk, we're good. We're good. You catch up anyway. So day 1 is behind the scenes. Someone's done a frowny face. Someone's crying. I don't know why. Why are you crying? This should be joyful. Are you okay? Is everyone all right? All right. So day 1, ready? Context 1 is behind the scenes. Yep. Put it at the top of column 1. Yep. Day 2 is personal insight. Put it at the top of column 2. Yeah. Day 3 is why. Put it up, top of column 3. Get the idea. Day 4 is inspiration or motivation. Top of the column. Day 5 is about. Top of the column. Day 6 is benefits. And day 7 is showcasing products or services. So if you had a chance to review the email and the units today, I would have asked you to have a look at features versus benefits. If you haven't done that, no problem, right? This is the difference. Your feature is something tangible, right? It's something that you have. I have a car, it's got 4 wheels, it's got airbags, it's got like, it's black, it's shiny, it's got like a sunroof. That's my car, right? It's cute. It's sporty, that's my car. That's the feature of my car. The benefits are it's black and sporty, so it goes faster. It has sunroof, so I can get the wind in my face as I'm like rolling down the street. It's black and sleek, which makes me feel like really, trendy or whatever. It's the feeling associated with the feature, right? It's intangible. So the airbags are the things that keep us safe, right? And the benefit is so that I know that my kids or whoever I'm traveling with, I don't have kids, by the way, so I know that my kids or whoever's in the car with me is always going to be safe, right? So the feature is the airbags, 4 airbags. The benefit is I know that everyone that travels with me is 100% safe. So feature, tangible, benefit, intangible, what's in it for me? Why would I do that, right? So you've got to be clear on these things. Amazing, amazing. Yeah, so it's features for a service, like a course. There is things like, what are you actually giving them in the course? So in this course, the features are you get everyday live training, you get like all the units, you get the downloadables, you get an email every day. They're features of the course, right? And then the benefits are you're going to come out of this with a huge plan, you're going to know exactly what to share, you're going to know how to structure concepts, content. That is a benefit, right? Feature is what it is, benefit is how to do it. Being a nomad, feature is how to, how to be resourceful, find accommodation for like, the smell of a naughty rag, how to book accommodation from overseas, blah, 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 whatever that is. And the benefit is you can live this nomadic lifestyle and live the life of your dreams, stay off the grid, whatever those things are. Hopefully that helps. So you've got this list. Let me pull up my epic calendar thing again, right? And it should look something like this, maybe straight, okay? Value 1, value 2, value 3, blah, 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 blah. Cool. And now we're going to fill it out, all right? We're probably just going to fill out the first line, and then I'm going to leave you. Hey, Sue. Nana Sue's here, everyone. Welcome, Nana Sue. We're going to leave you to go and do your homework on this, right? So I'll start with, let me start with this one for you. Value 1, whatever your value 1 is at the top, we're going to work across the line. And this is how this content map piece gets done. So value 1, behind the scenes. So if your value 1, for me, my value 1 is freedom. So what does freedom look like for me? It looks like travel, it looks like adventure, it looks like, walking the beach in the middle of the day because I can. These are the things. So behind the scenes for me could be, taking beach walks during working hours, right? Hey, that would be the content piece, that I get to take breaks out, top the tank, put my feet in the ocean every day, 3 times a day. That's behind the scenes of my freedom value. That's that. And you don't need to fill it all in, just the context of what that is, right? So for you, value 1, behind the scenes, just a snippet of what do you think that would be? Write it down. You can use a bigger pad. Hey, Deborah, nice to see you here. So number 2 is your personal insight, right? So again, value 1, personal insight. So if my insight is freedom, and I had this conversation with my mother today. She's like, freedom is my insight. I says, for me, freedom is bigger than just freedom, right? So my personal insight on freedom could be location, time, or financial freedom, right? So it could be that block about what is freedom. I have this insight that it's more than just one thing. So that's my personal insight on freedom. What's your personal insight on freedom? What's something that you believe to be true about freedom? If that's your value, whatever that number one value is, right? I'm just giving you an example. Perfect, right? I'm glad it makes sense. All right, day 3 is my why. So it doesn't have to be my why, it could also be why. So why is freedom important to me? Freedom's always been important to me. And my context piece would be, I've never wanted to live an ordinary life, right? I always wanted to make my own rules. I never played by the rules. That's my freedom, right? That I get to make my own decisions. That's true freedom for me. Do what I want, when I want, where I want, with who I want. That's it for me. That's why. That's why freedom's so important. But what is that why for you in your higher value? Mm-hmm. Inspiration and motivation. This can be something as simple as like your favorite quote, right? So it could be something as simple as, someone that you really admire who's doing it so well. So what in that value is something that inspires you? What is someone doing in that space that inspires you? What motivates you to keep living this piece day in, day out, right? That's the piece about inspiration and motivation that's so cool, right? You can have my value, Angela. It's totally fine. Yeah. Whatever works for you, Mister. So if it's important to walk the beach in Morocco, put that. It could be an example of what freedom is. But you're a nomad, right? So one day you could share walking the beach in Morocco, and the next day you could be walking the beach in Croatia, and the next one it could be walking the beach. So maybe it's the piece is around sunsets, right? Sunset in Morocco, sunset in California, sunset in Hawaii, sunset on the Gold Coast. Those could be the elements that you're sharing in this particular behind the scenes. I have a client and a friend, and she shares sunrise every day. She lives on the beach, and she excuse me, I have to uncross my legs. My hips are like, no. And she videos sunset every day. That's part of her thing, right? So she records sunset because it's about this miracle of sunrise, every single day. And that's her thing, right? So whatever that is for you, it's totally cool. Kindness. Well, some inspiration around kindness. There are so many acts of kindness right now, Angela. Like I'm so focused on the good things. I'm so focused on what's going well in the world right now. I'm so tired of the drama because I just don't believe that's like it's real. What's happening is real. It's real in so many people's lives. But there's so many elements of kindness that come to the front when people are suffering, and this sense of humanity and generosity is so prevalent right now if you look for it, right? So I think kindness is a beautiful one. I love it. So that's day 4. Day 5 is about, right? So this could be about freedom or about the value, or it could be about your perception of the value, right? So whatever you feel is important to share. So it could be, for me, it could be about how I bring freedom into my life. So it could be that I'm location independent. I actually haven't had a house. It doesn't even count. Like 2018, I packed my house. I've been living and working remotely since almost 2 years, right? So like that's how I live my freedom on a regular basis. And I'm not young, but I decided that I'd always wanted to do it, and if not now, when, right? So that became my story. It's like, I could wait for the perfect scenario to have the perfect relationship, have a lot of money, have all these things, do all the stuff, whatever that is. And I kept waiting for the time to be right. And so then I bit the bullet, and because if not now, when? And so that became about how I live my freedom. And the benefits are, it could be the benefits for me. For me, having freedom means that I literally can work. Where I go, my work comes with me. Now, that's also like something that people don't realize is that, I may rock up on Jenna's door and say, hey, babe, I'm staying for a week. Sorry. And she'll be like, that's fine. And everyone thinks I'm on holiday. I is not. I'm working, right? I work wherever I go. Like, these are the things that happen in my everyday life. I still work. I still turn up for my clients. I still turn up for my team. I still do the things. The benefit is wherever I go, I take my work with me, right? So what is the benefit of that value? For you, or for anyone else who lives it. If it's kindness, Angela, like, what's the benefit of kindness? Like, oh my God, can you see the ripple effect of what kindness is having in the world right now? Can you see the ripple effect of what a little bit of kindness is doing in communities right now? There's, I can't remember the name, I'm so sorry, this incredible food project that's happening in the States that just like blows my mind, how the people are literally feeding tens of thousands of people every day. It's just this beautiful act of kindness that I see. And then the next piece is showcasing. So this could be about showcasing a product or a service, or showcasing this in that space. So for example, I could showcase how freedom allows me to live my life, or I could showcase, so my products and services are social media. So I could showcase, you know, social media marketing or whatever else with the element of, you know, the freedom allows me to do that. Does this make sense? Are you with me? So this is context. So what you'll do is, once you've mapped out the thing, I'm going to show you, I'm such a visual person, and oh my God, I can't do it. Once you've mapped it out like this, right, you've got your 7 days across, 7 values down, you'll have 49 pieces of content ready to go. 49 pieces of content, right? So if you have 8 pieces down, you'll have 56 pieces of content. That's 2 months worth of content, right? Right. And then you could just do that for 2 months and then do it again, go through the same exercise. So let's say you have 8 pieces down, 7 pieces across, 7, 8, 56, close enough to like 2 months worth of content, right? Give yourself a day off and you're good to go. So now you've got 2 months worth of content mapped. I'm not saying writing it all down, but you've got an idea of what that looks like. Are you with me? Does everyone make sense? You have to go to a meeting, go, get the idea. So what I need you to do is to finish this, right? I need you to go ahead and go through each particular day. All you want to do is create the context of what it would look like with like your intro of what it is, right? So it doesn't have to be, I don't need you to write the whole post. I don't need you to like pick all your images. We're going to do that later, but you need to have a context of what you're going to be sharing and what you're going to be doing and how it all starts to come to life, right? Super, super, super important. I'm glad you love it, Stacey. We love you too. So think about what sits in that space. Be clear enough that when you come back to it, it's not just one word. So some forms that I've seen come through, it's like, what does that look for you? And it's like peace. And I'm like, cool, peace. But that's like so... like that's so general. Like, what does peace look like for you? Give yourself permission to do it well and not just tick the box. All right, give yourself permission to actually know what this looks like and be clear on it. You can come back and change it. Like, we're allowed to change our minds, we're human, but at least give yourself some peace around what that looks like. For humor, someone was asking about humor the other day. Oh my God, you can have so much fun. If your value is humor, imagine what behind the scenes with humor looks like. This is you like messing shit up. Oh, sorry. This is you like, you know, I don't know, playing pranks. This is you like doing goofy faces. This is you like just being large and crazy. This is you in your favorite like outfits, taking the bin out. Like, that's behind the scenes with humor. It's so cool. Your why for humor, because why is it so important for you? I love this. Your personal insight on humor, isn't it so much better to be playing with humor and fun and laughter? What is your inspiration and motivation for having humor as a value, right? Share some of that. Share people who make you laugh. Share the people that you love to follow in that space. You don't have to create the content. You just have to have the context. What about? Maybe it's like things like, you know, the funniest meme. I think I did a thing not very long ago where I was like, show me your last meme. I literally, the funniest memes that came out, just people are sharing like these crazy memes. Like, why is it so important for you? How do you go ahead and share that? How do you share your humor? What is it about it that's so exciting for you? What's the benefits? Like, come on. I'd rather laugh than cry every day, right? So, you know, share the love. It's so cool. And then showcasing how you bring that to life in your everyday life, right? So darn cool. If anyone else needs any help with their value, no, baby, I love a real Fijian princess. It's not your downfall. It's an absolute blessing. Yeah. So, Mr. What do you think about putting the same type of thing in different boxes? Like to feature other women could do that every week under different value, creative women. Yeah, totally. Whatever works for you, right? Or, personal insights in each box could be a different thing. So, personal insights for value one could be a creative woman. Personal insights for value two could be, a curious woman. Personal insight for value three could be the authentic woman. Totally can do that, right? But you have that pillar of what that looks like, so it creates continuity for you, so you've got this resource of what that looks like, and that's sort of cool. Yeah, whatever works for you, right? As long as you feel like you have enough in that, right? So that's super cool too. Yeah, humor, I love it. Kamini, what are you struggling with? Let me know. Leadership. Okay, Julie, leadership. Behind the scenes with leadership. You know what? Great leaders are like swans at the top, and they've got stuff going on underneath. It's not just what they're showing the world, right? So leadership, what does behind the scenes of a great leader look like? Are they the 5 a.m. club, or are they the people who are actually like leading by example and doing the things to be able to empower people to do stuff? Why is leadership important to you? What is it about leadership that's so important to you? Why is being a leader important? Being a leader is actually an interesting word right now. I've been involved with a number of people in organization who are all talking about leadership, and I'm a little triggered by it. But that's just me, right? So what is it about leadership? Share with me. Why is leadership so important right now? Why? Tell me why it's important to you. What's your insight on leadership? Yeah. What is your inspiration for being a good leader, or who is inspirational to you in the leadership space? What is it about being a leader that resonates with you, right? And then what is the benefits? What are the benefits of being a great leader? What are the benefits of great leadership for an organization? And how do you showcase leadership in your everyday life, or how do you showcase leadership in your work? Does it make sense, Julie? What else I got? How to put an image in your mind for values. Don't put an image in your mind just yet. Put a concept in your mind. So sincerity, what does sincerity feel or look like? How do you know something is sincere? Why is sincerity important to you? This could be a quote. It doesn't have to be an image, right? It could be text. Yeah. What's your insight on sincerity? What would you want to share around sincerity? And what's your inspiration for it? Why is it so important to you? So put the context first if you're struggling with the image. About sincerity. What is it about sincerity that's so darn important? And the benefits for sincerity, as well as how do you showcase that in your world, in being you, right? And when you have those context pieces, the image will come. And if not, then maybe the image is not your platform. Right? Maybe your platform is video where you're talking to it. Maybe you're talking to a sincerity. Maybe it's text. Maybe it's a graphic. Maybe it's an article. The context will determine the content. Oh, that's a new one for me. Write it down, my team. My grid is blank. That's okay. You have time. Intuition. Yeah, perfect, perfect. Okay. I hope it makes more sense. Context rather than image. Perfect. Yes, I can give you an example of a completed content map. I have to share it in the group because I can't share my screen. But yes, I will do that for you, no problem. And the content map hasn't got images with it. So that sort of, colorful thing that I've been sharing, I do that for my clients. And then I have the elements within that. And then I use that to attract the images and everything else. So awesome, awesome. Yeah, perfect. Perfect. You guys have got it. You got it. So the other thing this is all sort of coming to light with for me is, what about your platforms? So I play in Facebook. I was on a call and someone said, what about Google ads? I'm like, I don't speak Google. I speak Facebook. That's the only language I speak is Facebook. I speak a little bit of Instagram, but mostly I speak Facebook. And I was triggered in a conversation with my very bright 16-year-old nephew as we're having for dinner. He's like, oh, no one's on Facebook these days. And I'm like, Let me just check that for you because I love being told off by a 16-year-old. My ego was like, no, that's not true, blah, 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 blah. And actually, let me just get the numbers so I'm not talking from blah. Facebook is still, for business, the largest social media platform, right? And it's important to know where your people are so you know where to go and you know what to do, all right? So understanding what your context is like. So for Susie, who was talking about she's making videos, then Twitter's not her place. So when you understand the platforms and the capability of the platforms and how many people are using the platforms and who you're speaking to, then you'll understand where you want to share your message and then what kind of message is the most appropriate. So it shouldn't really come as a surprise that platform is the number one platform for growing a business is Facebook. It has 2.4 billion with a B active daily users, 2.4 billion with a B. So everyone who's saying Facebook's dead, and the numbers don't say so. They could be making the numbers up, but I'd still say even if they're making it up and you cut it in half, it's still leading, right? So whether you want brand awareness, whether you want website traffic, lead generation, whether you hate them, love them, we're all here on it. But if you wanted to grow a business, Facebook is definitely the strongest platform to be able to do that. Generally, the demographic is everyone's on there. Like even my 16-year-old nephew who says Facebook is dead still uses Facebook for events so he can find the right parties. So they may not like it, but they're still on it and they still have a profile on it, right? So the second one that's super powerful is Messenger, because Messenger is owned by Facebook. So the benefit of Facebook is that it has such broad demographic and targeting capabilities. You can literally be so specific. You can target a university graduate with a certain percentage income who follows this person and this person who doesn't like that person, who is married or divorced or blah, 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 with children, going to private schools, blah, blah, blah. And you can actually really stream and tailor who you want to speak to. And so those analytics and those capabilities exist within Messenger as well. So Messenger is a super powerful place to build your business on. And you've seen that happening already, right? And there's some cool restrictions so you don't just get spammed all the time. But particularly for products, a product-based piece, Messenger is super cool. Instagram is a close second, right? It's very close behind Facebook. It's number 3 on the list, and it has 500 million daily active users. So it's obviously owned by Facebook. So if you want to advertise and market on Instagram, you need to have a Facebook Business Manager account, which is why I keep saying about having the account. The beautiful thing about Instagram is that it's a visual platform and it's much easier to grow an organic following on Instagram. Facebook, not so much. You really have to put a little effort into it, and quite often you have to put a little money behind it. But in Instagram, there's still a very large capability to grow an organic following. The analytics are quite robust. Actually, that's not true. The analytics are interesting in Instagram, but you can grow super well, and you can also have a good amount of targeting within Instagram as well. So it's good to know that that exists. Pinterest, yes, Pinterest falls in the creative. So anyone in a creative space, my photographers, my visuals, people who are more in the how-to, so my bloggers, my information people, Pinterest is your place. It has 291 million monthly active users. So not daily, but monthly is still done good, 290 million. The key thing around that is 81% are women and 93% say that they use Pinterest to help them make a purchasing decision. So it's a very underutilized platform. It's not somewhere that I use for my business growth, but I use it as a creative platform for inspiration. And so it's not to be taken lightly. If you're in the creative space, I would definitely start to think about what that can do for you. Let's see, Snapchats. So obviously, if your target market is comprised of a younger demographic, then Snapchat might be the thing for you. There are 350 million monthly active users, of which 200 million are under 34 years old, right? So a huge portion of those are under 34. And in fact, of that, 50% of those people are 18 to 24. So if your demographic is 18 to 24, Snapchat could be the place where you want to play. It has a huge audience, and it has a huge influencer following as well, right? So if you're speaking to a younger demographic, that might be where you want to play. What else have we got? YouTube's has 2 billion with a B monthly active users, right? So if you are doing educational or video type content, then quite often people go to a YouTube for a how to fix my battery, how to restore my iPhone, how to make this meal, blah, blah, blah. Also the creative industries do super well on YouTube. So musicians, videographers, it has a visual content. The thing around YouTube is that it's owned by Google. So because it has attachments to the Google Analytics, it has the powerful opportunity to be able to capture people in a Google search. So proper keywords really resonate within YouTube. So for Susie, who's talking about YouTube platforms, it's a perfect place for her because she's a musician and that's where she'd want to play. For some of our people, say Beck, who is an epic chef, cooking demonstrations, cooking classes, recipes, all of those things, YouTube for video content, right? Twitters is one of the oldest platforms, but it's not dead yet, right? So it still has 336 million active monthly users. 336 million. So it's certainly not past its use-by date. You can post videos along with limited characters. So you've got 140 characters. I think that's right. And the advantage of Twitter is it's text-based. So if you love just a quick text blast and you don't want to go into the huge conversational piece around what that looks like, then Twitter is your platform and it's definitely worth investigating. It's been around for a long time. It's really not going anywhere. LinkedIn. So a lot of people are talking about LinkedIn at the moment. LinkedIn is a powerful B2B model. Now, I've got great friends who are LinkedIn coaches and they're like, oh no, it's B2C. And look, that may be true, but predominantly it's B2B. People can search based on job titles. The advantage of LinkedIn is that it has a more honest, be the right way, a more detailed personal profile. So people are likely to put much more of their personal information there, much more of themselves into LinkedIn. It's considered to be the best social platform for business. So for anyone who's looking for business opportunities, who's looking to connect with people from a B2B space, LinkedIn is really powerful and it's a very underutilized platform for creating business relationships. TikTok is the new kid in town. It's only been around a couple of years, already has like 1.2 billion viewers with 500 million monthly active users. It's passed like Snapchat, Pinterest, LinkedIn already. So it's definitely one to watch. Here's the thing, you can't advertise on it unless you're doing influencer-based advertising. So it also, if you can find a way to use or generate influencer-based marketing, then you're going to have access to Gen Z, which is pretty tough market to get to. So if you are focusing on Gen Z and you want to get in front of them in a fresh, contemporary way, then TikTok is the way to do that, right? So people say, well, should I advertise on Snapchat? And I'm like, well, who's your demographic? 18 to 24? Then you should. Should I advertise on TikTok? I should be doing TikTok. I'm like, well, who's your demographic? Gen Z? Then yes, right? Should I be advertising on LinkedIn? Again, who are you speaking to? Oh, B2B? Then probably you should, right? So start to think about the platforms. We don't need to spend all our time in all the platforms, and then match that up with how you share content. If you're sharing video content, then YouTube and Instagram and Facebook are going to be great for you. If you're sharing context and how-to content, then Facebook and Pinterest are going to be your place. If you're a blogger, right, and you share written content and written articles, then Facebook is going to be your place, Facebook and Pinterest, right? So start to think about the context of your content, and then you can work out where you need to play. Okay, so let's see who can get a shop on anything in here. Okay, yes, we did discuss LinkedIn. Okay, cool. So there's a little bit that you guys need to do. Let's just quickly tap into what those actions are for the rest of today. See if you can complete your content map. Yeah, at least, 7 by 5 if you can, because 7 by 5 is 35 days. That's well over a month's worth of content. right? So try and get your content map fixed, set up with the context so you can move forward and we can start to look at images. That's tomorrow's game, right? What's tomorrow's game? I forgot. I'll find out. I tell you. 2 seconds. Yeah, brand visuals tomorrow. So we definitely need to have some sort of context of what you want to be sharing. So have a look at your map, start to map it out, start to consider what that would look like. And the other thing I want you to consider is, what are your platforms? Where do you want to share your message? Where do you want to share your content? And then that will give you an idea of what kind of content that you want to craft. I hope this helps. Right? I know I've just downloaded a lot of stuff, and when I get excited, I talk really, really quickly, which is a problem. I must slow down, but that's not going to be tonight. So look, thank you so much. If you have any questions, I'll try and get back to everyone. Make sure you post your updates in Unit 3. Today is day 3. You guys have done so well. I know there's a lot going on. There's a lot of content. I'm so grateful for you to keep showing up. You know, I think it's as gratifying for me as it is for you to be able to be here and to be able to share with you these things. And like, it's just a blessing to have you in my space and in my field. So thank you for showing up and sharing your passion and your values with me. I so appreciate you. Have the most brilliant evening ahead. I look forward to connecting with you all on the lines, and I will see you tomorrow. Tomorrow, what are we doing? Images. Day 4, images, creating a library of your images. Fun times. It's going to be great. Blessings to you all, and I'll see you tomorrow.